Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we are diving deep into one of history's most fascinating mysteries, how we finally learned to read the language of the pharaohs. For over 1,400 years, the incredible secrets of ancient Egypt were locked away in stone. Think about it, temples, tombs, monuments, all covered in these beautiful, intricate symbols that no one on earth could understand. It was like a giant, stunning book that no one could open. The pharaohs' stories, their wisdom, their entire world, all of it, silent. Then, in 1799, something happened that changed everything. A French soldier, part of Napoleon's expedition, stumbled upon a black stone in Egypt. This wasn't just any stone. It was the Rosetta Stone, and it held the key to unlocking 3,000 years of lost history. This discovery would allow us to hear the voices of the ancient Egyptians once more, directly from their own words. Imagine a civilization that thrived for millennia, leaving behind an artistic and engineering legacy that still boggles the mind today. Their writing system, hieroglyphs, was central to their culture. They called them Medu Neter, the words of the gods, believing the god Thoth himself invented them. For 3,000 years, from around 3,200 BC, elite scribes painstakingly carved and painted these symbols, recording everything from sacred religious texts to everyday tax records. It was a sophisticated system, but incredibly complex, with over 700 signs. To master, being a scribe meant power and prestige. But then, the world shifted. In 30 BC, Rome conquered Egypt. Over centuries, the ancient religion faded, Christianity spread, and the temples closed. The scribes, the last living links to this ancient knowledge, died out, taking their understanding of hieroglyphs with them. The very last known hieroglyphic inscription was carved in 394 CE. After that, silence. For the next 1,400 years, hieroglyphs became an enigma. European explorers and scholars marveled at them, sketched them, filled museums with artifacts covered in them, but could only guess at their meaning. Some thought they were just mystical symbols. Others saw them as purely decorative art, and some even floated wild theories about alien communication. Everyone was guessing because the language was utterly lost. That brings us back to the Rosetta Stone. When that black slab was found, it was clear it wasn't just another piece of rock. It had 3 different scripts carved onto it. The bottom section was in ancient Greek, a language scholars could read. The middle was Demotic, a later Egyptian script, and the top, hieroglyphs. The immediate, electrifying thought was, what if all 3 texts said the same thing? If they did, then the Greek text could be the ultimate crib sheet to finally decode the hieroglyphs. The French lost Egypt to the British shortly after, and the Rosetta Stone eventually made its way to the British Museum, where it sparked an intense international competition to crack the code. The Greek text was quickly translated. It was a decree honoring Ptolemy V from 196 BCE, but while the content wasn't earth-shattering, the implications were. We finally had a parallel text. However, it wasn't as simple as just matching words. It would take over 2 decades and the brilliance of several minds to truly break through. The hero of our story is Jean-François Champollion. This French linguistic prodigy, born in 1790, was already fluent in a dozen languages by age 16, including Coptic, the last stage of the Egyptian language written in Greek letters. Champollion intuited that Coptic might hold echoes of ancient Egyptian pronunciation. He wasn't alone in the race. An English polymath, Thomas Young, made crucial early discoveries, figuring out that the oval shapes, or cartouches, often contained royal names and that some hieroglyphs represented sounds. Young even partially deciphered Ptolemy's name, but he believed hieroglyphs were mostly symbolic, only phonetic for foreign names. He was so close, but couldn't quite make the final leap. Champollion, however, pushed further. On that fateful day in September 1822, he had his eureka moment. By comparing cartouches from Abyssimbel with the Rosetta Stone, he began to piece together the phonetic values. He identified the names of pharaohs like Ramesses and Thutmose. And then, it hit him. Hieroglyphs weren't just symbolic or phonetic. They were both. Some symbols represented sounds, like an alphabet, others were full words, and some were determinative, silent symbols that clarified meaning. Legend says he rushed to his brother's office, shouted, "Je tiens l'affaire, I've got it," and promptly fainted from excitement. True or not, his breakthrough was monumental. He published his findings, and the code was cracked. Champollion finally visited Egypt in 1828, where he stood before temple walls that had been silent for 1,400 years and read them aloud. He truly opened the door to understanding ancient Egypt, earning his title as the father of Egyptology, even though he tragically died at just 41 from exhaustion. So, how do hieroglyphs actually work? They're more complex than a simple alphabet, but incredibly logical. There are three main types. Logograms are word signs, where one symbol equals one word, like a sun symbol meaning sun. Phonograms are sound signs, representing consonants. Think of it like an ancient Egyptian shorthand where vowels are implied. And determinatives are silent clarifiers, added at the end of a word to help you understand its context. The fascinating part is that the same symbol could be any of these three, depending on how it's used. One common question is how to read them, since they can go left to right to left, or even top to bottom. The trick is to look at the animals and people in the text. They always face the direction you should start reading from. And get this, no spaces between words. Determinatives helped with word boundaries. While monumental hieroglyphs were carved in stone for eternity, scribes also developed faster, cursive versions called hieratic and later Demotic for everyday writing on papyrus, which, by the way, was ancient paper made from the papyrus plant. Only about 1% of ancient Egyptians were literate, making scribes incredibly powerful. Once we could read hieroglyphs, everything changed. Before Champollion, ancient Egypt was shrouded in mystery and myth. Afterward, the civilization came alive. We could read the pharaoh's own words, not just what others said about them. We learned their true history, decoded king lists, and understood their religious beliefs directly from texts like the Book of the Dead. We discovered their science, mathematics, and even their incredible 365-day calendar. But it wasn't just grand history. We found everyday life too. Love poems, medical texts, legal contracts, and even letters between officials complaining about their jobs. Turns out, humans haven't changed much. We found humor, satire, and personal graffiti from ancient tourists saying things like "I almost came here and thought this was wonderful." The Rosetta Stone and Champollion's genius gave us direct access to an entire civilization, allowing us to hear their voices across 3,000 years. Today, the Rosetta Stone remains one of the British Museum's most visited objects, and while debates continue about its repatriation, Champollion's true legacy is the knowledge it unlocked. Thousands of scholars worldwide now fluently read hieroglyphs. Universities teach ancient Egyptian, and you can even find apps to learn them on your phone. New discoveries happen constantly, and thanks to Champollion, we can immediately understand them. We're even using AI and machine learning to help decipher damaged or unclear inscriptions. Ancient Egyptian is no longer a dead language. It's studied, translated, and very much alive in scholarship worldwide. The story of hieroglyphs is a powerful reminder that knowledge can be lost, but it can also be gloriously recovered. For 1,400 years, an entire writing system was incomprehensible, but one genius, armed with incredible linguistic skills, unwavering determination, and a fortunate stone, brought it back to life. So, next time you see a hieroglyph, remember, you're not just looking at a pretty picture or a mysterious symbol. You're looking at words, thousands of years old, yet readable today. All thanks to the Rosetta Stone and the brilliance of Jean-François Champollion. The secrets of ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs, completely unraveled. If you found this historical detective story as exciting as I did, smash that like button. What other ancient mysteries would you love for us to unravel? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into history's most intriguing puzzles. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes the greatest discoveries come from refusing to accept that knowledge can be lost forever.